Hello, everybody. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 70.
Yeah.
While I'm recording on people,
Hello,
the animals,
and to Irongeek Cast number 70.
Shit, let me turn that off.
Yeah.
While I'm recording, don't use
Double
back or animals, which I completely admit to because I have a nice fur coat. Anyway, welcome everybody. I guess I should do the normal HackerCons that are upcoming. I've gotten through a lot this year. I just got done with NolaCon, and I feel much fatter for it. It's I had good food everywhere. Love the crawfish etouffee at there's one place. I don't know the damn place's name. It's quite as good as the stuff that Yvonne makes. Yvonne is one of the organizers.
Right.
Who and Rob were the husband and wife, and they had a speaker dinners at the house, and all gads. Yvonne's cooking is great. But
Awesome.
NolaCon's done with. But I've always scheduled for next year because I love that con. Hackers on the Farm is this weekend. I think I'm going to be rolling in late Friday night. I think Israel's going to be there as well. And
okay,
I don't think I don't see Nightshade on here.
I'm not going to be able to make it.
All right, maybe next year.
And yes, I will be there.
Triple City Con is June 1st through the 3rd. Show Me Con is June 7th through the 8th. B-side is June 23rd. Then GurCon is, and I have this gap here, September 6th and 7th. And DerbyCon.
Woohoo!
Then I have a few other ones that are a little bit more questionable, but I still need to get some confirmation on a few things, but I have them at least roughly scheduled. But that's it for me. How's everybody else doing?
I'm feeling wonderful. Like I said, just coming off an awesome week. The week is still awesome, right, baby? we just having a good time. Just a couple of things just to get up to bring you up to speed. Currently working on a new podcast called Broken Sect, and just stay tuned to this cast with Irongeek Cast, which I'll still be a part of for more updates. Also, too, please, if you're watching the thread right now, please fill out the survey. We need your feedback so we can make the show better. You know, let us know what your likes and your dislikes are so we can adjust and make the show even better, because we do this for you guys.
Exactly, and even the whiny little bitch myself will adapt if needed. Just
edit out that comment.
You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings by saying negative. We're all adults here.
Yes, we are.
I'm just saying, speak the truth and let the truth fix the problems. That's all I'm saying.
Cheers.
So anyone else? How's everyone else doing?
It's going good. I actually started fixing crap at work, so yay! Actually doing something with my life. Well,
I love it.
Life.
Yes.
Yeah. Getting handed a project where the last guy that worked on it didn't do anything for the first 2 weeks and then left because he saw that the project was way too much work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, having that dropped on you is always fun.
Yeah. But you know what the cool part is about stuff like that? And this is how I try to approach like different challenges like that when situations happen. I try to just make it my own. Like, it's like, you know what? I've inherited this mess, but now, yeah, you want to talk? Go ahead. Okay.
She's like, you need to do this to your boss.
Yeah. Nah, I have to. When you inherited something like this, then you know you just make it your own, and you kind of modify it. You don't even go by the old blueprints that the person that left you, the person that had it before you. You're pretty much creating your own new set of rules and blueprints.
Yeah, basically had to do that. Had to kind of start from scratch and still make all the client's requirements. But yeah, that's working.
Yeah.
2 weeks in, and I already have like 4 weeks worth of work out, so we're good.
Sweet. Anyone else? What's up?
Yeah, just real quick, good, because project manager is going to like that, because I'm sure they weren't going to want to extend the project timeline out.
Yeah, no, they gave me like 122 hours, and I was like, dude, you need a budget like 150 just for me to get caught up on this, and it's gonna, because we're building I looked at it and I'm like, this should be 150 or something like that.
Right.
And then I talked to person above my boss because they came to me expecting 4 weeks worth of work done, and he was like, those hours were fine. I'm like, yeah, those hours are fine like 4 weeks ago. We don't have those 4 weeks anymore. When your developer left. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm gonna get it done regardless.
There you go. Get her done.
Mm-hmm. A lot of beer later, but yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
As I'm doing, yeah.
My week's been kind of decent, I'll say. On my main system, my motherboard decided to drop out.
Oh.
So, new motherboard order just got here today. We're rolling out tomorrow, so probably won't get it in until Tuesday.
Okay, so the real question is it quad SLI?
No.
Oh, man. Dude, how you gonna mine them coins?
No, how are you gonna crack those hashes?
Well, that is what you're doing when mining coins. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, that's true. Sorry. Yeah.
You are. But no, main system still a laptop stuff. And I have quite a few of those laying around. So here's another one that I haven't started building out yet. So this one is fully operational. So
ThinkPad.
Dude,
Nice.
ThinkPads are nice. I got two T530s. Those things are nice.
yeah, these are X1 carbons. This is my main toy. This is my fun book. And then gotta decide what I'm gonna do with this other one.
Yeah, so I just use an MSI GT62 VR as my primary laptop.
You mean the brick?
Yeah, but let's face it. I mean, it may be a brick, but it's a VR-capable brick that has 32 gigs of RAM and an i7 and a 1070 in it.
Yeah. I did the exact same thing, but I bought my laptop like 3 years ago. So
I got mine in 2016.
Yeah, like that was. Yeah, you came in at the right time because then they were making SSDs and spinning disks.
Yeah, so
standard.
mine has a 256 gig SSD as the C and a 1 terabyte non-SSD as the storage.
Nice.
So I have like Dockered the fuck out of it, and it's running Win 10 Pro with Docker and Hyper-V, and it's like, how could I not?
Didn't you just start messing with Docker here like 1 or 2 weeks ago?
Negative. I started fucking with that about 3 months ago.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, Docker is a very useful resource.
Yes, it is. Now, I need to start learning Kubernetes. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, that I haven't messed with any yet. Docker I played with.
Yeah, Docker, so I can tip my hand about one of the projects I'm working on. I'm trying to Dockerize each individual security tool that I use that's command line based.
Nice.
Hey, you're going to publish those out on Git?
Docker Hub and Git, yes.
Good.
Nice.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? All right, let's get into the show notes. Irongeek cast feedback survey, I think, is still going. Ricky's not going to be on the cast tonight, but he's the one in charge of that. First news story here is the gift that keeps on giving. New patch Pound Infinity for Spectre. So whoever put that in, go ahead and talk a little about that. I'm going to go get my food.
This is just essentially, I threw it in there as new patch number Infinity. I think this is, what, 4 or 5 now?
It's 4
in there.
Yeah, it's the 4th variant. I actually was going to add this to the show notes, and then I looked and saw that you put them in here, and I'm like, oh, nice.
Yeah, it's never going to die. So
it's beautiful. It's a fucking architecture level patch. It just won't fucking die.
I know.
But it's funny how you like each different piece of architecture or feature that they're targeting with each of these variants. All of them are linked directly to trying to make the CPU perform faster and perform more or perform quickly and higher level tasks, so that data analytics, it's performance over security. It's just always as interesting to me for that.
Speaking on the performance side, because whenever the initial patch came out, they said up to a 20% performance degradation. Are we still seeing that with the newest patches? Like, do we know? Or have they even said anything about performance since they've started releasing more and more patches for it?
I think initially to get the patch out immediately, they needed to just do the quick fix, which was just turn it off or turn speculative branching off, which was going to give you that 20 or so percent. If depending on the processor you had, it was like an up to 20 depending on which processor you had.
Yeah.
If you had a processor from like, I don't know, like Gen 2, like you had a Gen 2 i7 and then you patched it, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you're gonna lose like 20% of your performance on something like that. I think it was more the older chips. Go ahead.
A lot also depends too what workload you're doing too. Like we saw a lot of SQL servers go to shit because it's very
constant IO.
Yeah, constant IO. Whereas something that's not so constant IO would see almost nothing.
So a friend of mine, her Pixel 2 or Pixel 2 just pretty much bricked after it because it got that slow.
Wow.
Yeah,
it
also
dropped like 50 or 60% performance from the patch alone.
So the Pixels had, and this is going off topic just a little bit, but the Pixels do have an Intel chip in them.
They have, I believe, an ARM processor, and it's good to note that with some of these vulnerabilities, some of the variants, I should say, do have adaptability to be used inside of ARM processors. So your phones, like smaller tablets, like I think the Kindles, like Gen 1 and 1 up. I think, no, Kindle tablets are still on ARM.
Yeah, most Androids are on ARM.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was thing about Meltdown only hit Intel, really didn't hit AMD or ARM, but Spectre is pretty much hitting every architecture, short of the outliers like Spark. Well, actually, probably does hit Spark, but I haven't looked too hard into that.
AMD also got hit pretty hard with something called Memcache, and I haven't looked into it enough to fully bring it up, but essentially it was a company in Thailand was third-party contracted by AMD to make their chips, and when they made their chips, they were leaving backdoors, like hardware backdoors, into all the chips that they were giving to AMD. So like all of like the AMD Ryzen and like the newest stuff has these hardware backdoors on them. So that's
doesn't surprise me at all that he's a shitty third-party contractor. I've seen it before.
It's like
seriously, we've seen it before.
Yeah, it's like I see where you messed up here. It was right here at the beginning.
Well, this goes back to the earlier issue I had with them back when Threadripper came out. I was in the middle of Threadripper computer. Yeah, they just had a contract with Foxconn to build the mounts for the FGA or PGAs, and those Foxconn mounts were way the fuck out of spec and way the fuck having problems. Like it's well known. So you go with a shitty third-party contractor, get what you fucking deserve. Learn.
Well, one thing specifically on the security element, this has been a concern for a while. DARPA has had an active thing going for a long time about hardware security and hardware verification, because hardware backdoors are a thing, especially when you look at these countries and they're like, hey, this might be used in defense, let's backdoor it. So, or hey, we can gain some commercial advantage to this, let's backdoor it. So there are some mechanisms I thought of a while back, but never was able to really, have enough knowledge to implement that I'd still like to pursue. But that being said, I mean, this kind of stuff, there has been some research into it, but really, unless you're manufacturing the silicon yourself, you aren't going to be able to fully trust anything. I mean, if you want to read up on this stuff at the CCC conference, Chaos Communication Congress, Rutskova, I think her name is, she has published like a lot of work on, trustworthy computing and trustworthy hardware. She was the one who did the original red pill, blue pill rootkit stuff.
Dope. I'm just glad there isn't any like rampant malware going on right now.
Yeah.
What's also interesting is Spectre was thought of, or at least like that kind of attack vector towards speculative branching and CPU architecture. Spectre was thought of, and a paper was published in like 98 or something like this about how there could be an issue. There wasn't any proof of concept like we see with Spectre and Meltdown, but it was a paper basically saying like this probably could happen, and here's why I think this might happen. It's just I don't think that anyone would take the time to do that. Granted, it took 20 years, but
so about that, University of Washington and a couple other universities actually published papers a couple years ago that wound up being, and I didn't even realize those papers existed at the time of publishing, but they wound up theorizing May.
Oh, nice.
So if I get a chance, I want to talk to some of those U of Washington people because, you know, why not? But the point is that with this stuff, a lot of stuff is only in theory, and it might even be proof of concepted eventually, but until people start seeing it in the wild, they aren't going to take it seriously. I have specifically gotten feedback from a certain conference that's deaf that they think that May is just swapping content, and they aren't really interested in it because they don't care about it because it's just swapping content. When you look at the actual ramifications of swapping that content, it gets a little bit worse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, and to preface for people who don't know, I'll post it in the notes. Ali has a exploit and a kind of, I wouldn't say it's an O-Day. Is it an O-Day?
It's not O-Day because I published it.
Okay, now it's not O-Day. he has a paper on how he hacked Unity's VR and augmented reality system. Essentially, the way that he explains it is you have one asset in the game, and like say you have two different assets, you have two different characters in the game. His script that he wrote and the programs that he wrote use a man-in-the-middle attack to change this character in the game, which is actually injecting that asset or that entity into the engine. And Aoi, you can pretty much inject anything you would want into that then, would you?
Yeah, pretty much, even so far as executing PowerShell and beyond.
Yeah. So so the main thing that people are having trouble with is that they're seeing two different characters change on the screen because you did one thing or the other, or you did your man in the middle and just changed what the game character looks like. But you can, if you think about it, when you're running a game, everything is running on your system. So then you can put shellcode on that system and execute it there.
I have popped shellcode with this. I have popped PowerShell with this. Just basic. It's literally a single node to pop PowerShell with this.
Yeah. Because is it the same with Unreal where they have a C++?
So Unreal, I originally thought it might be vulnerable, but it looks like it isn't. At least not. So Unreal's engine, first of all, you have to hard code all these nodes by C++ rather than having reflection. So that already removes a lot of attack surface. Beyond that, though, the other thing is that Unreal, there is no built-in way to download stuff. Admittedly, there's no built-in visual scripting system like I'm attacking on Unity. So in Unity, so either way, I'm kind of adding third-party stuff to prove this attack. But from a realistic perspective, I haven't had the time or effort to really test this on Unreal, but I think it's not as vulnerable. but I think under certain circumstances it could become that vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it just takes time. Just like with anything, if it's Spectre Meltdown, a lot of it just takes. It seems like, and I'm completely new to this. It seems like a lot of the time it just takes someone who's dedicated enough to sit down, look at something for a really long time, and try literally anything and everything, and then they get their end result.
Okay, so shameless plug, by the way. Tomorrow I'm going to be giving a talk in the Many Hats Club on May.
Nice.
Yes.
What time?
7 p.m. Eastern.
I'll be on the road.
Well, it will be recorded, and in about a week to a month, it will be on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
All right, sweet.
Very nice.
Also, I have submitted the actual talk itself for the more hardcore talk to besides Las Vegas and DEF CON Biohacking Village as well.
Awesome.
So if there's any DEF CON Village that will accept it, it's probably biohacking.
Yeah, I can see biohacking doing that.
They have an outright category for VR, AR, and biohacking, so probably.
Nice.
Very cool.
Question though, do you guys feel like this would, like, in terms of Spectre and Meltdown, because we hear about it all the time, but we're only hearing about it from security researchers and universities and stuff like that. What do you think it would be, or sorry, what do you think the scenario would be like if we were talking about this, but we were seeing this crap in the wild, like another WannaCry situation?
So I think we'd probably be looking at, well, we'd definitely be looking at malware, but realistically, I think it's cool, but I can't plausibly see this in the wild outside of state-sponsored. With something like, so this is going to go into May again, but with something like May, I could see it being used by someone like, state-sponsored or a terrorist org or whatever the fuck. But with this in particular, I see it being used the same way. That being said, May could theoretically be used to spawn, actually it can be used to spawn a crypto miner, so, But,
if we're talking about hardware, vulns, or hardware backdoors, I have a hard time seeing this possibly getting to the level of WannaCry unless we find everything been pre-infected. As WannaCry's remarkable threat was more so that you got system level access on a default exposed service.
Exactly, I have to agree.
Conceptually, it's when you're thinking of hardware-based backdoors or exploits, that really, I have a hard time really translating that to the same kind of threat. Hardware-based exploits make me think more of Priv-esque, which, don't get me wrong, is absolutely a important vulnerability to stamp out. But it remains to be seen how it remains to be seen how the space will evolve. Because who knows? The web browser technology is evolving to the point where we're executing a lot of code previous security models never thought that web browsers would execute. So, maybe we'll get to the point where hardware-based exploits do become the next, almost WannaCry.
Well, I got a question. I just want to roll back real quick because, and like I said, I was thinking about this today. So with the browser, right? And like I said, I spent some time really learning and understanding JavaScript. And trust me, I'm by no means any type of expert or whatnot. But with the web browsers in general, do you still think that's I know they're finding a lot of vulnerabilities or whatnot. Do you still think that that will still be feasible in the future?
What, web browser exploits?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Because largely because so many of the technologies that used to be on other ports, that's other than port 80 or 443, has been rolled into web browsers essentially. The attack surface has dramatically increased. So I have a hard time. I mean, we're still seeing new exploits for Windows 10.
Yeah.
So, you know, web browsers are, while not as complex as an entire operating system, are still enormously complex. So, yeah, we're still going to be seeing web browser exploits for a long time.
Right.
So,
Because again, you got to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You've got WebXR being added as a new spec, WebVR, which has barely been tested. You got WebGL, WebAssembly. You want me to continue?
Wait, WebAssembly? Hold on.
Yes.
I knew that was going to proc Charles.
I'm you know what it is? Because I'm in the assembly mode now, and it's just like, so WebAssembly. I'm Googling it like literally right now.
Yes, WebAssembly.
Wow, I'm bookmarking this. I'm gonna check that out. But that's the thing, because here's the thing. As I was sitting in Starbucks, and I was just like, sometimes when I go to Starbucks, it's kind of like people watch. Well, I'll put it this way, machine watch. And what I mean by that is I just watch how the people interact with each other. I watch how they're using the machine. I watch how I see all those laptops, everything in there, and I look at it from a perspective like everything that's moving, everything is just code to me. I look at it as just code, from the light bulbs that they're standing under, from the machines that they're running, from the blenders. Everything is just code running in the background. I mean, that's
okay, Neo.
The Matrix.
Not even the.
It's Charles.
Not even the Matrix. It's you know, like sometimes, and plus, and you guys probably feel this way sometimes too. Like if you've been at it a long time and you've been around the scene a long time, you kind of get that mindset once in a while. It turns on and off sometimes. A lot of times it stays on because you're constantly thinking of ways that things could be exploited and things can change. I know I am, and I'm pretty sure you guys feel that way sometimes, once in a lifetime, you know.
Wait, it turns off?
Yeah, right. It turns off.
Oh no, it doesn't. It never really turns off. We just try to lie to ourselves and make ourselves think that it's off, but it's always on, because you're always on. I know I'm paranoid to an extent, you know. Right now I'm in the process of trying to, since the Socrates engineering board is no longer sold in the U.S. I'm trying to just build my own like firewall, but I want to find a small enough case to where I don't want no big 1U rack mount thing. I just want something that's small enough that I can fit like a micro motherboard in. With all I need is 2 NICs. That's it, and then I'll let OpenBSD take it from there, because I already got the firewall rules written up. And
I know a good one for that.
And you're not going to do any type of IPS on it?
What's that?
You're not going to do any type of IPS on it?
No. It's just going to be just going to be a firewall, and it's going to be OpenBSD, because I don't even use pfSense, because I look at it this way. pfSense is just an added GUI on top of it. It's just going to be OpenBSD, straight command line. That's it, and with the PF file that controls all of my traffic.
Yeah, in that case, you should processing speed.
You should be able to roll your own IPS with FreeBSD.
Well, OpenBSD. Yeah. No, I could, but it's just I never really, thought about doing it. And it'll have OpenVPN running so I can get back and forth in my network. Just something really simple, And OpenBSD out the box, I mean, PF is built into it. So even if I patch OpenBSD, I don't ever have to worry about PF just dying.
Yeah.
I just use the raw config right out the box. And I'm not using Raccoon anymore for IPsec. that shows how dated I am. Raccoon and Swan.
You know, I just had a brilliant idea, but I wonder if it could work.
Say it. What's up?
Dockerized PF Sense.
Ooh. Maybe.
The problem is PF Sense is BSD, right?
It comes from the BSD world, yes, but it's no different than you're running IP tables in Linux. It's just BSD's version of IP tables.
Let me phrase it like this: I don't think Docker runs BSD.
Maybe. You never know. Find out.
I'm like 95% sure there's no Docker BSD. I'd have to double check, but I don't think there is.
But here's the thing: you gotta look at it this way. Docker has containers, right?
Yeah.
It comes from the BSD world. A lot of people stole that from the BSD world came with jails, and they still run it. I still run jails to this day.
I know, but what I'm saying is I don't think it supports the BSD kernel.
Well, it might not. I mean, a lot of things are shifting away from the BSD kernel. Everybody's all about Linux, which is fine. But I mean, you know, for the hardcore Unix, you know, for like people, I guess like myself, or whatnot, who still want to continue to support BSD as far as like with desktop and even servers are concerned, you know, there'll always be a place somewhere for it, you know. As long as there's a mainframe, there'll be FreeBSD.
Yeah.
That's the way, you know, that's the way it usually happens. So, I mean, I've been using these OSs since I've been using the OS. I've been using OpenBSD since 3.8. So it's version 3, and now they're now up to 6.3. That's nice. Pretty much a long time. And then FreeBSD I've been using since the 4.8 days. Yeah, so yeah, I've seen CSUP, I've seen Portmaster, I've seen it to where it is today, and my desktop runs FreeBSD 11.1, and I'm just using VirtualBox to run Kali on it. So it makes an awesome host, rock solid. Only the next thing I have to do, like I said, I just have to get like a Bluetooth converter that will work with FreeBSD, so I can sync my headphones to it and not always have to use my Mac and stuff to kind of, you know, sync up. Even though I love my Mac and everything, but sometimes you just want to just use a more customizable operating system.
Yeah.
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 I'm having that same issue with Windows right now.
Yeah.
I went back to Windows just so I could play games because I only have one computer here right now. And
Yeah.
back in the States, I would have one with my Linux stuff where I would do all of my crap, and I would just VM, and I didn't even know what Docker was until then. I just VM a Windows thing for any Windows programs that I needed for like school and stuff like that. And then coming over here, put Windows back onto it, and I hate it. Blue screens every like two or three times. So it's like, stop.
No, man, it happens. I mean, it's so much stuff out there. It's just like, I don't know. It just depends on what your flavor is. And I'm to the point now where I'm just trying to, I'm kind of trying to scale back a little bit, like stop using all of these. Like for my editors, I've deleted all the editors. I'm just straight hardcore Vim. That's it.
Yeah.
I deleted all of like the little text editor, you know, stuff like that. Only thing that hurt my heart is that they got rid of Shutter in Kali Linux. Shutter's no longer there.
Is that the
screenshot? Yeah,
Shutter. Yeah, Shutter was the screenshot thing. Really?
Yeah, they got rid of it. It's not in Kali. It's not in the new version of Kali. Neither is KeepNote, which I figured that was coming because they don't have a maintainer.
No, that's a good point. Is Shutter still up and going?
I don't know.
It was the last time that I used it, which was like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, it's not in there unless you got to install it as a separate piece, but usually it came with it.
Yeah, shutter-project.org. Yeah, I have to install that because that is one of my annoyances. Is not. I wanted to find a good screenshot tool. So.
And I hate
that one. I actually love.
Yeah, and now with it's taking me some time to get used to Cherry Tree, but I just started using OneNote and just call it a day. That way, all my notes are just syncing, you know. So So it's just you know what else too, and I hope people listen on the thread. If you've passed your OSCP, the hardest thing is trying to figure out what's next. Life after the OSCP. What's next? Like, seriously, because
OSCE.
Well, that's not in a lot of cases. In some people's cases, is not always feasible. And just looking on the forums, looking at the forums too. A lot of people were talking about that too a little bit in the offensive security forums. Some people are going the eLearn security route, which I'm curious about, but I don't know anybody that's taken eLearn yet. That's eLearn security. They're like the replica of offensive security. Like they have a lot of hands-on. They do the hands-on approach like offensive security does, but they have two courses that look interesting, which is the web application pen testing course and the web app extreme penetration testing course. But the thing is, if you take those two courses, because when I was first looking for paths and whatnot to go into, of course, OSCE is just the next level up, and especially you want to get it now because the OSCP is becoming a commodity. Mm-hmm. Meaning, I was reading something on Reddit, and I don't know if you guys saw it, in like the OSCP fraud in India.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, these guys are really, and I'm not saying all, and just to be on the safe side, I'm not saying all Indians are doing this. I'm just saying what I read, that they were doing this in India, that they were cheating on the, I didn't even know you could cheat on the OSCP, but yep. I guess some people found the ways, but.
Really?
Right. Well,
wouldn't that be considered a, like, let's think about this. It's you're attacking a system, and then you hack the test and cheat the test, but still get the same result.
I don't know how they do it. But
my guess is they probably tell each other how to get into the system.
Yeah, maybe. They're probably teaming up or something. Who knows?
Yeah, because they don't have a camera on you whenever you're taking the test.
Well, that's true too.
So that's not to completely give it all away, but yeah, that's how they do it.
Yeah, it's a VPN.
Yes, I told you guys about the friends of mine that took it, and that's how they were able to
What pass it?
Yeah, one really knew what he was doing, and one was just kind of along for the ride.
Wow, that's fucked. Cause that just gives it away. No, because that just.
I think that's. I'm laughing because I think that's the only time I've heard you drop the F word.
I know, right? It hurt. I know, right? It's hurtful because like, I just hate to see. You know what it is? Because I just hate to see stuff like that because it devalues the cert. And when people work hard and people work months on these things and whatnot, and then to have people come along and actually devalue the cert, it's just a shame. It's just a shame. So in offensive security, I look at it this way, and I hope they never go like the route of like CEH did, like EC Council, and try to do the compliance with the government, because that would just kill everything.
What's wrong with that?
No, it's not. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, okay, remember when CEH came out?
Yes.
Everybody wanted to do the certified ethical hacker just before they was compliant with the government, and everybody was hyped. Everybody was team EC Council, and people were getting the CHFIs. I mean, it was a big thing. It was like, ethical hacking course. But then when you look at it, it's like, wait a minute, it's just multiple choice. But then when they wanted to do, when I saw, and this is when I was working at DECA, and they had somebody come in, they had like a EC Council training, and they had a lot of people from, I think they were from another department. It was a team of them. I never forget, they was in the conference room. I had to make sure the conference room was working for them. They sat in that conference room and did the test. And the trainer took the test right after and got all those people certified with CEH. And I'm like, wow, talk about MCSE days all over again. Like, you take a team, and it's like they only did it in one day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Wow. I wish I could hack systems in one day. Wouldn't that be nice, guys?
Well, I mean,
Depends on the
depends on the system.
I mean,
I'm just saying, all systems. I wish you could do that, and all that'd be nice.
It'd be a very boring world.
8570 is what cut down on all that, because you definitely have to keep up with. You have to keep up, and it's tracked, and sure the test is kind of shit. It's still shit, but
it gives the foundation. I'm not gonna totally just dismiss it altogether. Even though it's multiple choice, and I'm trying to find the good of it. Even though it's multiple choice, it gives a foundation.
That's the goal, but it doesn't always turn out to be the reality.
No, a lot of people just take it just to have the cert to look.
If it becomes high enough in demand, people who may not be technically savvy enough, but still already have crossed all the other hurdles for the job. They passed HR filter. They somehow fooled the other layers of the interviews that they are smart enough to do the job. They will find a way to cheat in the test. And when, it's inevitable if it becomes a requirement to get a job or get them, like for 8570.
So pretty much survival mode.
And at that point, there's a market. There'll be market for a lot. Markets to be created to accommodate the demand that the cheaters created. The cheaters will either, if they don't know well enough how to Google, they'll purchase the cheats. They'll purchase the guides.
Yeah.
They'll do the test. They're not going to learn anything, but they'll have the acronym next to their name. I don't see how the government could possibly, if their standard is take the certification, I don't see how they can possibly avoid this dynamic. It's intrinsic to it.
Well, I mean,
I just think it's hurtful, man.
Well, fuck it. It's probably anyway. But when it comes to a lot of these certifications that are required for certain jobs, there is a Fed VTE training for it. There's another branch of it, and it kind of slips my mind, but I've used it. I've only used it so I can keep up my CPEs, but yeah, I mean, it exists.
Yeah, I that's just kind of just.
I don't mean like training. I don't mean training. I mean here at answer sheets.
Oh yeah. This was 04, but I was at a unit, and you could walk into the S6 section, and you could tell them what cert exam you was going for, and they would just pull out answer keys, and you could have at it and memorize the entire test bank if you want to.
I have a question, guys. Do you think that's going to eventually happen to the CISSP?
It already has.
Have you checked Pirate Bay?
I've never taken
No, it won't happen because they rotate about. So So you might get similar questions, but it won't be word for word.
That is that is a valid way to combat this from a company perspective. It'll take time for there to be a cheat sheet to come out, and the hope is that you rotate it in a new guide quick enough before the old cheat sheets disseminate widely enough. Yeah.
Because I hate that's when you ask me what do I hate about the industry, I hate that part about the industry. Because there were some people, even when people like with the CCNAs and stuff, and with certain certifications when you work your butt off, and then here comes a group of people that just cheat the system, and then it devalues your hard work. And sometimes you do feel a little bit of way about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. You feel a little bit of way. It's just like wow. But at the end of the day, you can cheat the system, but again, you can't cheat the job. You will be exposed eventually. It all comes back.
And I do want to point out, whenever offensive security finds out about somebody who has cheated on the OSCP, they are actively looking into those individuals, and people's OSCP has been pulled and revoked.
Good.
Whenever it's been confirmed.
Good.
Well, then maybe the people who cheat can do one thing right. OPSEC.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't ask me for names because I ain't giving them out. I'll say it, but I ain't snitching on them like that.
Yeah. Oh,
It's not like it's going to help the story.
That cheated the OSCP?
Yeah.
You mean? Oh, yeah. You ain't got to say that. Just point them out. But no, I'm just saying. I'm messing with you, man. But yeah. But I mean, hey, good luck to them. And I just hope, like, the ones that cheated to get their OSCP, they just learn, like, just go off and actually learn something.
And that's the big thing for a lot of these people who do it is oftentimes for them to get into the door, that first step into the door. And honestly, they'll probably never would be able to fully pass it, but that's just for them to get their foot in the door. But yeah, in real life, they are not technically competent.
Well,
on the flip side, I mean, I've seen someone who didn't know a thing about Linux just pour himself into the OSCP and pass it within a 3-month period.
Well, I've seen people like that, but that's awesome.
Somebody that working their ass off. That's not somebody.
Oh yeah, super passionate. He really smart guy. I envy him. I envy what he's accomplished, but I've accomplished different things I'm proud of, so it's more so different choices he's made.
Yeah, there's a blog post somewhere out there, 0 to OSCP and 90
I saw that.
Or something like that, yeah.
And I love it. I mean, I'm glad, like, I love when people are winning. I love to see people accomplish their dreams, their goals. I love it, and it's just hurtful when you see people. All I'm saying, it's just hurtful when you see people who don't even care about the culture, don't even care about, how it affects the community, and they just do certain things like that. I genuinely care about the community. That's why I get passionate about a lot of this stuff, because I care about the way the community looks. I care about what goes on in our hacker community, because again, I've seen it at a time where nobody cared about us, nobody thought about us until they needed us. We were just a bunch of nerds in the basement.
It's like Charles's baby.
I
remember
those days.
Yeah, I have days like that. It's just like nobody cared about us until until they felt we were relevant. And now you notice out in the world, everybody's trying to be a coder, and it's great. I like the influx, but that world is very different. Especially with developers. There's developers, there's programmers, and there's coders.
Yeah,
you gotta love to do it.
I just wish that there would be the push to be. I wish the rate of people coming in would slow down a little bit. Maybe able to see an end goal, but too many people too quickly, and gets to be overwhelming to teach norms or teach the lessons that we've learned over the years about good programming practices and good administration practices. And, if we can't teach those to this influx of new people, then we're just going to see the same mistakes that we spent decades trying to solve come right back up again.
Yeah. That's coming.
That's the biggest thing that I have noticed in just the 2 years that I've been doing software development and web application development. It's you see problems that you're looking up, okay, what even is the CVE on this, and it's something from 2004, and I'm like, we're in 2018 right now. It's like, how did you manage to put how? And it all comes down to just lack of knowledge. It's not lack of trying. Like, a lot of these guys that I know actually try, and they like try to put out something and meet deadlines, and for what it's worth, the thing works. It just doesn't work in the right way, and it leaves people and businesses open to stuff that is very well known and is a Metasploit skid script.
And at the end of the day, that coder is gonna be like, "Fuck you! I did my job. It works."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's okay. That is something that I've been dealing with for like the last 2 years. It's always been, especially when I started getting a little more vocal about my security concerns towards things. And like, for instance, not naming the company, I noticed that we had like a bunch of raw SQL queries that weren't being closed off, and I'm like, okay, these are all SQL injectable. We're not closing any of these statements, guys. Why aren't we fixing that? Oh, it's not a priority right now. And also, who it works. Why would we fix it? And also, like, why no one's gonna care about this application? And it's like, okay, there's a huge amount of problems and all of those statements. One, yes.
I think maybe the answer to that is you show them a headline of businesses that went out of, companies that went out of business because the people deleted their database of SQL injections.
You just have to show them. That's what I wound up having to do when I was getting pushed back from a certain developer.
That literally was all I needed to do. It took time for me to get the clearance to do that, and at one point right before I left to go study abroad, they said, hey, we want you to do a kind of risk assessment / audit on this application that I've been crapping on for the last year and a half, that I've been developing on it, that we're not prioritizing the right things because we have a bunch of these easy security vulnerabilities. And I showed them, and I showed them, it's like, yeah, here's your SQL inject point. Yeah, here's 200 more of them that you have in your database that I can hit. Yeah. And also, all of these files that have these injectabilities to them, they're all in the public folder. So you could click on just in the public folder and you'd get JSON back of whatever it is sometimes of what that file was supposed to give out. And one of them was actually like, it was giving out like emails and stuff. So I was like, holy crap, this is big. And it was something super simple to fix. And I said, this is a high risk, easy fix on your thing. Because right. It was super funny because I kept checking. I was like, did they fix it? Did they fix it? Did they fix it? Because I'm not there anymore for a few months. And it took them 3 months to do it, but they did it. So now I'm good. Now we're good. So I'm like, yes, did something good. I did a thing. Probably should move on to the next topic.
Yeah, so that was...
The one me talk. Wait, what? This is 2.1. What the hell did someone do here? Oh no, that's
so I just added that to give the link because we were talking about May a little bit and how that worked in relation to the acceptance or not acceptance of the reception between May and Spectre.
Okay. Remote smart car hacking. Just the phone.
Yeah, this was me. It's kind of a hit piece. Well, not really a hit piece. A kind of warning piece someone did. They actually had a IoT smart alarm and remote car activator on their car, on a new car they bought. And of course, being IoT, it could be turn your car on, potentially turn your car off, unlock it, etc. They found the back-end server using TIBCO Jasper reports, which they're able to exploit and find case files. Well, not exploit, but at least it wasn't locked down enough where they could find other case files, usernames, etc., and potentially reset passwords for users. One example, reset a password for a user, get in, start their car, unlock it, and boom, you've stolen the car, with just knowing, that it has a system. Potentially also things like stopping the engine when you want, or starting the engine when you want, unlocking the car, anything like this, or just tracking it even too. So, yeah, it looks like they've patched though. This was a few weeks ago. They patched it about 2 weeks later before it was released to the wild, or probably it was known to the wild. So, more of a cautionary tale of watch your IoT and secure it, and be cautious of what you have hooked up to your IoT devices, if you have any.
Yeah, I really like their post-mortem section of the article where they're like, yeah, make sure you know exactly what you're putting in your stuff and make sure that it's reputable.
Nah, you don't need to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't care.
Intel is inside everything, don't you know? Also, I just realized something. So I'm pulling up Ubuntu on the Microsoft Windows Store right now. Ubuntu is rated E for everyone.
Good.
Okay.
What? What is it, a video game now?
I guess.
Well, it's software they release. They probably have to rate it for the ESRB.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a second, though. Kali is also rated E for everyone.
Heck yeah. Dude.
Wait, no way.
Yeah.
I was going to be like A for adults only.
Ayo, adults only.
I got to put LIT for lit adults only.
Yes.
Leap.
Leet L33T. L33T AO.
I surely hope nobody ever. It's funny. I remember at a time. Yeah, I'm looking at this WebAssembly. It looks so great.
You're welcome.
Drooling.
Thank you. I know, right? Let me get a napkin. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna be playing with this. But yeah, I just God, I can't even, you know what? Go ahead. Next. When I get excited about software, this is what happens. Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear something amazing?
What's that?
So Windows Mixed Reality lets you open up Windows mobile compatible apps in VR, right?
Uh-huh.
So in my VR space, I'm able to open up Discord. I'm able to open up IRC. I'm able to open up everything but Slack. What the fuck, Slack? Also, the Discord official app doesn't work. It has to be the third-party one, but
What if you try like a secondary app like Rambox or something like that with Slack inside of it?
You can open it up through the desktop window. So you can open up the desktop as its own window in XR, but certain apps in the Windows Store you can open up as their own separate windows. Just saying.
That's interesting.
Oh, one thing on the remote smart car. It looks like, did anybody else get this impression or understanding? I just lost my mouse. That it looks like quite a few of these different manufacturers are all going back into a centralized database and centralized uplink.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's one thing I concerned was, you can get a report of where someone was, so you can stalk someone, watch their car in real time.
Yeah, because one they specifically said was Viper, and I know Viper's a fairly common for remote start and things like and alarms. So
that's been a concern with, like, even if you have like OnStar or things like that, even if you don't have it enabled, it can still potentially track where you are. So.
Well, yeah, because I think if you have an OnStar equipped vehicle, you can press OnStar at any time and sign up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
it's still there and alive.
Isn't there like there's an emergency system, like, okay, like you have OnStar and you just crashed and you like need help right now. If you have an OnStar equipped car, even if you don't have the even if you're not signed up for it, you can still like ping the OnStar button and then it'll send like help, I guess. I remember that being a big feature for them.
Huh.
And that has wireless, which means guess what?
Hacking.
Well,
Yes.
it's actually
Hacking.
what is OnStar cellular based, or is it based on some? Okay,
It has to be, cellular.
that's what I thought. So
Hacking hackers.
yeah, I mean, granted, cellular doesn't have a lot of accuracy. It's like something within 100 meters or something like that. It's not as accurate as GPS, but it's still accurate enough that it can get you pretty close. Well,
It depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the country, then maybe within like a mile and a half, it goes by which cell phone towers you're near.
Yeah.
If you're in the city, you got maybe like within a block or less.
Yeah. But yeah, again, depends upon the saturation of cell towers and which band you're on too. Because even if you're in a city, but the city supports GSM over CDMA, and you're on CDMA, not so accurate.
Interesting.
Never doubt the hackers.
Yep.
Speaking of having to track the location, I forget, before I came on, did you already cover the Location Smart / Secure Us thing?
That was like last week.
Yeah, last week.
The part after the Location Smart one as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's part of one of the same kind of.
Well, there were two separate things, but okay.
Yeah.
And that the commercially available anyways, you already covered the next one. Go ahead.
Well, we can talk about that a little bit here in the next one then. The breach report. So we had within the last week or so here, Rail Europe and Facebook. Rail Europe apparently is a very popular site for booking train tickets for rides through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And let me bring the article up. I don't remember all the specifics with it. I know it was identity that was compromised. So customer name, gender, delivery. Why do they have the gender? But delivery address.
They would have gender because of the booking shit, because security reasons is my guess.
Oh, could be for room assignments, things like that. Okay, so delivery address, invoicing address, telephone number, email address, credit debit card number, card expiration, and CVV. So the full gambit.
Oh, nice. Not even PCI compliant at all. Holy crap.
Not even close. So it doesn't say the amount of people who were compromised, but essentially their entire system was.
So I just had a thought. Does PCI cover Europe as well?
No.
Well, it's a payment card, so Visa and MasterCard or Maestro over there would probably be under it, but because it's not law, it's a merchant standard.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a merchant standard, but I'm wondering if that standard applies in Europe or not. Because
I bet you anything, if they don't have it, they have something more restrictive over there.
Probably.
They do. I can attest to that, at least in the form of NFC. In the form of NFC. Okay, NFC is used all the time here, but they're super strict on how you can use it. Mm-hmm. Specifically, there are certain security checks in place to make sure that you are actually the person that is using your card. Yep. Like I have a card with ING, and it's got an NFC chip in it. So then when I go and pay, I think it's like every 20 transactions, which is a lot still. any transaction that's under $25, you can do 20 of those. Sorry, 25 euros. You can do 20 of those transactions before you have to put in your PIN in, and the machines actually force you to put your PIN in. And if it's anything over $25, you can still use NFC, but you still need to put your PIN in. So it's super nice, and it's the only time that I'm ever going to use NFC until something like that happens.
Yeah,
until something like that is in the
it's
States.
starting to come out here. I used to work for the largest SIM manufacturer in the world. I won't say obviously who it is, but yeah, they were talking a lot about that because they're actually over in Europe. So they were, showcasing a lot of how a lot of that payment is done there. This was done like 10 years ago kind of shit. So we are so far behind in that kind of stuff. They're just now bringing it out here, and it's still pretty small scale.
Yeah, I remember it being a big deal when we got chips because Europe was already using chip and PIN for a couple years before we got it, and it was the Target breach that really threw that into full swing. I remember that.
So when I was in Europe, I had chip and SIG, but not chip and PIN.
Yeah.
I tried to use my credit card over there and couldn't.
That's different, like actual credit, or was it a debit card?
Actual credit.
Okay, that is also a thing that in Europe that they just don't do. Credit. If you're trying to pay for something with a credit card, a lot of the places here, unless you're staying at like a hotel or you're getting deposits, or sorry, if you're withdrawing from a bank, they won't allow you to use credit, or they won't accept credit because they don't know if you're going to actually give it back. It's just a different mentality with how credit is used. And most people here don't even have a credit card. All of it is just chip and PIN debit cards. Chip, PIN, NFC, debit
in this
cards.
case, I was in the Hamburg airport, and I needed to get an on-site phone because my phone wasn't working.
Yeah. If your phone provider's T-Mobile, it works. If it's anybody else, fuck off.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's why after that I got a Google Fi phone.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, I don't actually have Google Fi. I just had Nexus 5X, but still.
Yeah. If you get that Nexus, if you get that Google SIM, you just slide it in. You're good to go. But when I first got over to Europe in 2002, I had a T-Mobile phone that I accidentally brought back with me and realized the shit fucking worked.
Nice.
So I was fucking with my friends all day because, well, I was still being charged like local to Germany.
Well, yeah, because T-Mobile is originally Austrian, I think, or German, one of the two.
It's German.
German, yeah. So yeah, a lot of that's cross continent. And if it's all GSM based too, we use GSM as well as CDMA here. So a lot of that's the same frequencies.
Yeah, but I mean, it was fucking with their caller IDs because I call and it'd be this long string of numbers. Like, what the fuck?
It's like, who the shit is this person?
+49. What the fuck?
Okay, so that was first on the breach report. Second is Facebook, our ever-loved, we are never breached and never exposed private data. So, 3 million Facebook users, data exposed for 4 years on an unsecured website. And this was just revealed here in I think it was last Wednesday. The article was published, and it was found over a month or so prior to that. But yeah, unsecured website, 3 million users' data on it. We love the world.
Yay.
Yay.
And I'm going to look at what the date of this came out, because it's actually Zuckerberg was just in EU Parliament
Yeah, and I didn't see any of that. Did you read up or see any of that?
I did not, and I didn't have time to read up on it, sadly. But I will for next podcast so that we can do that. And I probably can get some different perspectives then, because I have I'm in the EU myself right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the breach. Ukraine, number 5, Ukraine, take cover. So we have 500,000 routers. I think it was Cisco Talos that first found it, maybe. I know I saw them referenced. But 500,000 routers compromised. A large percentage of those are in the Ukraine. And then, what were they compromised with? The specific name? With VPN filter. So if you saw any of the hacking security sites today, you saw VPN filter. And they are speculating a large-scale attack is going to be hitting Ukraine sometime here soon, but they don't know what exactly, whether it'll be DDoS or use it as a massive botnet or just X all those systems out. It can also work as a man in the middle then. So passwords or hashes, if passwords are going clear text, which I hope nobody would ever do that. But that's what we got going on over there.
I think some of these models are actually newer, and chat's saying that it's might be an ODE. So I'm looking at these model numbers because some of them look like they're
oh yeah,
newer.
And it did affect. I don't know if it was in this article. Some of the models, yeah, the Linksys, Netgear, TP Link, QNAP.
Like that's a lot.
Yeah, there's probably 16 or so referenced here, 16 to 18.
And these aren't like enterprise grade. This is just your run of the mill. Like go out and go to whatever your electronics store is and just grab a router that works.
Yep, home type of gear to SMB.
Yeah. Yep. Oh.
Share.
Dude. One of those, the R8000. This is what caught my eye. That's the Nighthawk, which is one of the most popular routers in the gaming community right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people have those in the States. Like right when they released, they were really, really popular because they were able to prioritize and just have a crap ton of bandwidth so that you could be gaming, streaming, and downloading a Blu-ray movie. I don't know what they were doing, but
Boot porn. It was all about porn.
Every single bit of it was porn.
Lizard porn.
Now, what's wrong with that lizard?
Nothing's wrong with the lizard, and apparently lizards do have penises. Adrian,
some
on Twitter.
Not all.
Some. The ones in New Orleans do.
Well, technically, an alligator is not a lizard. But
huh?
No comment.
Reptiles.
Oh man.
Some lizards.
Buzz.
Hashtag not all lizards.
not my lizard.
Not to wow.
Drainage. Drain it. Oh.
Drain.
Ow.
What? No.
The lizard.
Yeah, so that one sticks out, and that's a real high performance router. So those are going to be pretty much everywhere.
How much do they go? How much do they cost?
200. I'm looking at EU prices. Sorry, about 200 euros. But I think they were like, I think they're less in the States. Hang on, let me VPN over to the States real fast.
Look at you.
1 second, I'll about
I think it's about the same. Yeah,
about the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what that's. Anybody, and I know this is pretty old, maybe. Remember the Geek phone?
Geek phone.
Yeah, it was a phone overseas. I wonder if it's still around. It allows you to run Firefox on the phone. Mobile version of Firefox. I wonder if that's still around. When you said like with overseas Geek phone, I think this is
yeah, Geekaphone? Is that? Might be looking at something else.
Firefox. Let's see. It was overseas. They might not have it anymore, but I think it was the Geek phone, and I think it was like because they sold it in euros. I don't know. I had to look it up, but yeah.
So were you questioning due to the phone or Firefox?
Well, with Firefox, I was just curious to see if they even still had that mobile. If Firefox was still even doing in the mobile OS game. I remember they had the Firefox on there.
I got you. So it was Firefox's actual phone.
Pretty sure.
Oh, well, you could. What was cool about it, you could use either Firefox or Android. You could switch back and forth between the OSs.
Oh, that is cool.
Oh, Firefox OS.
Mm-hmm. That was cool. I was just looking out to, oh man. So it just popped in my mind, but yeah.
There you
go. Firefox OS was discontinued.
Oh, it was, okay.
3 years ago, around 3 years ago.
Mm. You know what made me think about it? Because I remember the black phone.
Yeah. Yep.
And everybody was so hyped. Yeah, this is gonna be the new way of encryption and how everything is gonna go.
They had horrible marketing, but they weren't exactly wrong in the marketing.
Yeah.
Like, this is much more secure. What is it secure you against? We can't really say because we can't secure it against governments.
And encrypted chat. I had a black phone because when you volunteered they gave you a certain amount of people. If you first volunteered to help test the phone, they gave you a free phone.
Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah. So I was one of the original. Huh? So I was one of the original testers. Like I was probably one of how many hundreds or whatever they gave the phone. But yeah, I signed up right away and they sent me a phone. That was pretty cool. But yeah, they're done. They've been done.
Their marketing just. I heard about them. One of their bigger. Oh, actually, didn't someone here mention it like a month or so back? Like one of their biggest customers is law enforcement.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
No.
Yeah,
it's that. Their biggest customer is that.
You tell them, Simone. I tell you. I'm glad you have headphones on. You can't hear this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
And one more thing on the Ukraine real quick that I thought of. It's May 23rd. We're just barely over a month away from the anniversary of No PATA.
Wow.
So that could be their intended strike date.
Got you.
And as well as I think that's like a national holiday. So could be here.
I'm going to check that because that actually, what day did you say that was?
No PATA was June 27th of last year.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a holiday.
Yeah, I think it is.
In Europe, June 27th.
June.
Ukraine holiday, and then I'm going to do another search as well.
Did you guys say June 22nd?
27th.
27th. Okay, never mind.
27th. So the next day is Constitution Day.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Which is basically I think their independence. Like basically what our Independence Day is. June 27th, EU. That's a thing that we have, or that Europe has a ton of, is holidays.
Yes, they do.
How many actually?
Okay. I'll break this down. Spring is actually very, very compact with holidays, at least in the Netherlands, which is where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have a full week of a holiday that you can. It's not like a close up the shop kind of day. It's one of those. Yeah, if you're celebrating it, you're gonna want to close up because you're not gonna survive with the amount of drinking that's going on those days. And it's called Carnival. It's basically Mardi Gras but European.
Oh my god!
And it leads up to the Catholic practice of Lent. And then you have just a ton of stuff with King's Day here and King's Night. And then you have, for the schools, they have their spring break then.
Wow. So is it like Cinco de Mayo on steroids?
Oh, Cinco de Mayo is a whole nother story. See, there's a lot. I'm surprised that of the amount of stuff that people are able to get done. Sometimes. No, because there's so many damn holidays.
Well, just be glad you're not in. Just be glad you're not in Germany, because every fucking week during the summer there was always a fest somewhere.
Oh, there was one day, the one time that I decided I'm gonna go to Germany just to like run over and grab some cheaper beer, because beer is way more or way less expensive in Germany than it is in the Netherlands. It's their Memorial Day. I didn't even know they did Memorial Day.
Oh wow! I'm about to get it to you.
Like, holy crap! Like, so we show up at all the shops and we're just like, why is no one here? This is like a ghost town, and we're just like, what day is it? And we're like, we have no idea. And I'm with one of my Dutch friends, and we're just like, what could it be? And we look it up, and we're like, Granted, we only had to drive a half hour, but a half hour of driving in Dutch time is like 3 hours in normal like US time.
Oh, I can imagine.
No, it's not.
For the people I know, it's close to that, where it's just you drive for 5-10 minutes and you're in 3 different towns over. But
interesting.
Different things.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm
like, think of every Catholic holiday, and the Dutch celebrate it by drinking obscene amounts of alcohol.
That's awesome.
And that's how it is in Germany.
Yeah.
That's how it is, and you just show up in a town, and all of a sudden there's a fucking tent, and then they're playing the Oompa music, and no, it's not that. No, I mean the tubas and the accordions are going. And
I have not heard a tuba here. Oh well, you're talking Germany. Yeah.
And so and then you see the beer wenches carrying the steins like handfuls at a time.
What does beer make you when you drink a lot?
It makes you drunk, sort of.
It gives you a gut, and you will look like a oompa doopa dee doo.
Nice.
I love my life. Yep. Yeah, it's I just found something interesting. I'm downloading Lab 26 from Bone Hub. Apparently it has it has Broken Web App, Matilla Day, Web for Pen Tester, Damn Vulnerable Web App, Django NV. I've never heard of that one before. Google, of course, Guri, and OWASP Juice Shop all in one VM.
How big is that VM?
Oh my goodness, 1.5 gigs.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all. I like this.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm looking for just anything like web apps. I'm just like the web. Because I looked at the OSCE credential curriculum. They have an advanced web app testing piece too. So meow, it's not just exploit dev, by the way.
So I found something interesting out myself earlier.
What's that?
Apparently there are instructions online for how you can convert a VMware image to Docker.
Oh,
speaking of Docker, they have something called Donkey Docker.
Of course they do.
It's like a boot to root.
Just oh man, if you could get that to be a payload inside of something on like a Teensy or Rubber Ducky, woof.
Or put the donkey and make it like a donkey. Get some some ASCII art as a donkey kicking the shit out of a computer. Ooh!
Just have like a animated GIF come up on the screen of a donkey kicking. Yeah.
Like how the breakfast stuff. You are the donkey of the day. Hey. You.
Hey, have any of you guys ever heard of AZ cyber warfare ranges?
No. What is it? I haven't heard of it.
Apparently, maybe it's in Arizona, but they are a privately funded for educational purposes.
Yeah.
They have 150 physical servers, 1,300 virtual machines, and 12 petabytes of storage. And they believe it's the largest privately funded cyber warfare range in the world. And so to get access, you actually have to fill out a form, web-based, send it to them, and then they manually, if they approve your access, will send you email confirmation and more information. So I've put my information in probably about a week plus ago and haven't heard back yet, but hopefully I hear back here soon and I can give some feedback on it.
Nice.
Yeah, about 1,300 virtual machines.
Can you toss me a link to that?
Yeah.
So my guess is that you do well enough, you're probably going to get a extra attention from recruiters.
What you mean?
It's cyber warfare range. I'm saying it's probably spooks are going to recruit, probably looking to see who does well for that kind of stuff.
Could.
So I'm assuming that, one of the qualifications for getting access to a cyber warfare range in the U.S. is probably going to be being a U.S. citizen, among other things.
Yeah, I think they're partially research too, but I just threw it up in our chat here.
All right.
Oh, yeah, they actually say Arizona.
Yeah, back in my day, it was called Capture the Flag.
Yep.
Yeah. And they even do on-site stuff too, apparently. But I forget where I first saw this. It was Reddit or no, it was on Twitter, I think. Somebody posted something about it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is. I'm looking at this. I'm sorry. Somebody just sent me something with about eLearn security. I'm looking at this. This is pretty. They look pretty interesting.
Yeah, I actually took a look at it after you started, or after you brought it up, and they have what it might be cool for people listening to this, if they want to get into it, they have a student, a PTS V3 or penetration testing student, and that seems to be the like entry level kind of way to get into it. And just I might end up doing this if I find time to do it. That's always the issue for me.
Yeah, time and money. Because here's the thing with these certifications, I don't have any financial backing. Like my company doesn't pay for anything.
Yeah.
So with the OSCP, I shelled out $800 of my own money.
Oof.
I thought it was like 1,300 or 1,400.
No, the OSCE is 1,200. That's why I haven't taken it right away.
Okay.
And see, the 1,200 has to come out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So nobody's funded me. Nobody's.
You better start selling some of that Bitcoin before price drops even lower.
Yeah, man. It's nuts, man. I just, but again, this is a passion that I enjoy doing. So, I mean, there's a price that comes with passion, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to, and it's a good investment, especially when it comes down to, it gives me options. So, when I definitely eventually, do more consulting and stuff, I have not only the credentials, but the skills. That's the main goal for me. The credentials is just icing on the cake, but just always want to make sure I have the skills and being able to find new findings and stuff like that, and not just relying on old low-hanging fruit, because that's dying and just disappearing. Like everybody's looking for SQL injection. You need to start looking at no SQL injection.
Yeah.
Because that's where everybody's moving. That's where everybody's shifting to. So
yes and no. I mean, low-hanging fruit's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to be more difficult to find. I mean, if you're not skilled enough, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, you got to keep your skills up. You got to be able to find the difficult stuff. Because if you go into some place that, has a mature security program, then there should be no low-hanging fruit. But then you actually have to put your skills to the
put the ringer.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the majority of places, there's still going to be low-hanging fruit somewhere.
Start lighting it up.
And hopefully, you've done a pen test on them, and you come back in 6 months or a year, and they fix the stuff. A lot of places don't. A lot of places want that check mark. But hopefully they come back and fix that low-hanging fruit, and now you're starting to hit the stuff that they really need to. Well, they got the easy stuff out of the way, and now you can start really helping them mature their security.
Now, because what I did one time was when I first started, and I mean, I just thought it made sense, but my coworkers were like, no, I don't know if they were telling me to lie or whatever, but okay. My first pen test I did, I found a lot of findings and everything else, right? So, like, I think it was like almost a year later when the same customer came back. So what I did, I looked at the findings that I found before and went through those first to see if they were still there. And then on top of that, I found a couple of new findings that I was able to exploit and get into the box. But a lot of those they fixed some of the stuff, but a lot of those same findings were there. But my coworker's like, no, you shouldn't look at the old report. You should always. But I'm like, if we just did the same customer, and tell me if I'm looking at it wrong, but if we did the same customer, and that would, I'm just thinking outside the box. If I know already that these vulnerabilities were already found, wouldn't you try to see if those worked first again?
Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
I think that comes down to more of a business decision of you would need to look at trying to find new vulnerabilities instead of finding stuff that's known. And that was something that I experienced right away when I was doing that audit of the one thing that I was looking at for like a year and a half. they already knew about the SQL injections. I just listed out what I already had, and I didn't go into it in detail. So I was looking for stuff that they didn't know existed.
Okay.
So it's more. I think it's more trying to figure out if it's in the specific goal of the pen test to say make sure that our patches actually work, or if we've fixed anything that you've seen before, then I think it's okay. But then when it's not, I think it's more of just a try and find as many new things as you can rather than looking at old things that you know already exist, because those people already know that and they may not be able to mitigate that due to their business processes or what have you, or they just don't care and they're willing to take that risk.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering why there was like, no, in the beginning. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was running wild. I was finding some SQL injection. I even did some server-side request forgery, and those are rare. And
Nice.
I was like, woo! I was having a good time. But then that first pen test taught me, like, you need to get your shit together with JavaScript. Because here's the thing, when you're dealing with browser exploitation, and if you're dealing with anything trying to coach a user to run your payload, 90% of the time you're trying to do it through a customized JavaScript page or whatever you're trying to get, especially with beef, and you're trying to hook them into your beef server that you got hooked up on the network, and you're trying to be able to do some things from their browser. That's all JavaScript, baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, that taught me real quick. Hey, Charles, there's this thing called JavaScript, and I mean, yeah, it forced me to really, get into beef, and it's fun. It's fun stuff. This is, like I said again, and anybody that's listening, if you're into penetration testing, and there's a difference between penetration testing and security research. Security research, time is not an essence. Penetration testing, time is everything. So that's why it's always important to automate your stuff. So don't be, how can I say this? Know Metasploit, but know how to write your own tools too.
So one thing I'd like to point out specifically.
Sure.
Automate your stuff, but if it looks like your employer is going to use your automating your work as a way to get access to your pre-declared intellectual property, run like hell.
Well,
there's no problem with that.
Yeah, here's the thing. If it's any script that I write that I don't care about, use it to your heart's content. If it's something that you really care about, don't even introduce it.
I know, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, don't use anything you really care about on the workforce, because otherwise they're gonna rip your shit.
Well, by all means they will, because they can't, because there's no way of separating the wheat from the chaff. There's no way of saying, well, I developed this on my own time, but yet you're using it for your job. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, if it's something that you don't care about and they want to use it, fine. I mean, it doesn't take away your knowledge. I mean,
I know, but
your creativity. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
I encountered a very specific situation at ex-employer where they were literally trying to tell me that if they didn't get to use what I was working on, what I pre-declared for free, they'd fire me.
Well, that was their situation. It's not now, Thank goodness.
But what I'm saying is there are employers who will try and use any chance they get to make a move on your intellectual property. Always cover your ass, is basically what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, there's no such thing as IP when they can't tell you can't prove one way or another as whether or not you developed it on the clock or off the clock, and that's why you should keep those two things separate. You shouldn't bring
exactly.
He did say pre-declare.
I wouldn't have pre-declared shit. I wouldn't have said nothing and left it separated out.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing going back to job. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
If you're intending on releasing it sometime in the future, let's say after you leave the employer, it's nice to have a bit of a CYA, but the employer won't claim that you must have developed this using or from the job's intellectual property, and therefore they claim that it's their everything you worked on is therefore theirs as well.
Yeah,
Basically, just avoid the whole drama.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say. Make sure you cover your ass and don't cross the streams.
Yeah. Like they want my personal port scanner that I wrote in Python. Have at it, dude. I mean, I'm just saying. Like stuff like that. Like if I use personal scripts like that. Now anything that I'm developing that's like kind of like huge and I know that's going to be a big deal, I'm not even going to tell them about. There's no point. And not even going to even introduce it because that's your own, But yeah, but that's the case. But yeah, no, I get, thanks for that advice. Because I was thinking, I was like, why wouldn't, but I get what you're saying now. Like, as far as like what the business case is concerned, and again, I'm doing pen testing, but I'm still a little rough around the edges with a lot of this stuff. So again, kiddies and anyone out there, it's always a learning process. And today I just learned something new.
And that's coming from someone who just knows how the development cycle kind of works, where when you have a client come in, you need to do everything to their specifications, and you don't build something or pen test something or do whatever to something, even if you're just doing software development or doing anything or doing pen testing, you don't do something that the client doesn't want, because then it goes outside of your contract, the agreement of the requirements of the pen test or the requirements of what the application is supposed to do, all that stuff. I actually got a little bit of a beration from one of my coworkers being like, hey, you're implementing stuff that doesn't need to be there. And I'm like, I literally only had an order by clause, but okay, cool. That's fine. I will try not to do that in the future. But what I was saying about JavaScript, everyone that listens to this, do you learn how JavaScript works, especially how the frameworks work right now? So like Angular, React, Vue, all that stuff. Because
that's actually what I'm working with right now is Vue.
Yeah. So
okay.
Going into it and learning JavaScript as itself, it's a great thing because all the older sites or sites that have been built within like the past, I say older, and I mean like the past like 3-ish years before the JavaScript framework really became an actual thing with Angular and React and Vue. That stuff is great if you just know vanilla, but if you know the actual frameworks and how those work, you can start to do some pretty interesting things with those as well. And most of the guys that are coming out of universities and also going into industry have those frameworks already in their skill set, and companies and development companies are looking to move from vanilla JavaScript over to these modularized systems, especially in terms of like with, I know Angular can do pretty much everything that a normal MVC framework can do, except it does it in a slightly different way, and it's all done in JavaScript. So you only need to have one JavaScript guy.
Right.
You don't need a JavaScript guy. You don't need a front end guy and a JavaScript guy and a back end guy. It's just
Could you elaborate, give an example of what kind of interesting things you're talking about?
For instance, like with vanilla JavaScript stuff, you can just for instance, like how you get invite codes on like Hack the Box. First thing you do is you look at what kind of JavaScript is running, and that's just vanilla JavaScript. But we had one instance with one of our Angular projects, and I think this was a year or so ago that I heard about this from one of my friends who is also going into InfoSec after he graduates, but he was also doing development work like I am now. And he ran into an issue where you could make a post request just in Postman or in Burp to one of our endpoints and start giving it a ton of JavaScript, and you could just see what the JavaScript request was doing in the Angular framework from the files that were loaded on your computer, so you could kind of predict how the behavior would be. And they were just deleting a bunch of records from our database that was on that system, or on that application, I should say. So that was fun for him because he had to fix it.
I can imagine.
Hey, you found it, you fix it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I actually, no, I take that back. I don't think he found it. I think it was the client found it and then told us about it, and then he found what the actual issue was, and then everyone was like, this isn't such a big deal. And my buddy's like, what? How is it not a big deal right now? So yeah, look into frameworks, and even expand beyond that into PHP frameworks, and just any sort of framework that is being built. A lot of those guys are going to use that, and some of those frameworks are going to have very specific vulnerabilities that you can target in the future.
Great. So, all right. Now,
all right. Thank you for the explanation.
Yeah.
So
where are we on the show notes, guys? What's next on the show notes?
We're going to number 6.
Number 6?
Yeah.
All right. Kenya passes controversial law for cybercrime punishment. And it's on Portswigger? Ooh. I didn't see this.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it. What's up?
So Darren was the one who put this one in here. I saw him putting it into the show notes earlier when I was watching the show notes. Essentially, it just brings up and implements a law into the into Kenya where it's just super strict on any sort of cybercrime in the that happens in Kenya, or it's a Kenyan citizen.
Kenya, we've got lions.
What the heck?
Oh, I was having an early 2000s flashback.
I have to agree. That's wow.
All right, continue.
Yeah.
And Mary got her hair did.
And
I undid it. I have one animal left to add to the bucket for eating this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. So the thing that I think Darren wanted to touch on was that the law leaves it very open to interpretation on how ethical hacking fits into this.
Right.
So any sort of like pen testing in general, like how does that fit into this at all? And it sounds like from what I skimmed through that people just the government in Kenya doesn't really know how to handle ethical hacking and how to just good guy white hat hacking and stuff like that. Or
name a government that ever understands it ever.
Yes,
there are none.
Yeah, I get that, but to slap the same sort of good point.
Well,
good point.
Remember, Germany did this not that long ago. They effectively made hacking illegal in Germany like a while ago.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Good thing I'm not in Germany.
Yeah, great thing.
Yeah.
Or am I?
These things tend to bleed over.
Wow. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that they didn't have that law when I was over there.
we're not careful, they might mess it up and go here. Do with it that long.
No,
That's
fuck
what
that.
it's-
I was on U.S. soil when I did it.
I can neither confirm nor deny the presence of hack tools on the flight that I took to Germany.
No, I'll just play Tom. What's an IP? What is that?
As long as we don't have anti-hacking laws going effect in Nigeria, that's all I care about. Get me some Nigerian prince money.
Nigeria, huh? The Yahoo boys. You know the Yahoo boys. Then
Heck yeah.
The Yahoo boys.
Can you smack them? Smack them for me? Because fuck those guys.
Yahoo boys.
I fucking hate their spam.
Damn.
Nobody likes the Nigerians. That's horrible.
I don't like their fucking spam.
I don't like that they train them to do it. I mean, literally, that's like what their college education. God, welcome to college. We're now going to teach you how to scam old Americans. I'm not joking.
You are
I
now.
believe
And we've
it.
actually had conversations with Nigerians that have come over, and that says they teach them that in school. How do you scam Americans?
I believe it. I believe it.
it too. Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
a
that
little
sounds
surprised
hard.
by how brazen it is, but not too surprised.
I don't
How
think
to scam Americans. The night edition course.
Nice.
Say hi to me. Say hi. Look.
Hey.
Aww.
We're not eating him.
Oh.
He's not edible.
Call me, baby.
Bunny bun bun.
Bun.
Bun. I like Bunny.
Oh, by the way, the poll on my website, the poll on my Twitter, the name of the rabbit that's living out in my front yard is going to be called Hassenpfeffer.
Oh,
Awesome.
wow.
That's a good name for it. We have one loose in our yard too, by the way.
Just so I understand, you said rat?
I have a rabbit. I have a rabbit in my
Rabbit.
front yard.
Hassenpfeffer is German rabbit stew.
I'm
Also,
okay with
to be. That's the last one.
Or take it back to the abominable snowman. My own little bunny rabbit. And I will hug him and squeeze him and hold him.
Look, we're going to eat a trash dove.
Oh, that was cold.
But it's going to be delicious.
I am looking forward to that. I'm just trying to
Unfortunately,
make.
what sucks is there's only one left because the other one escaped.
Oh,
I'm so mad. So we're going to have to share.
okay.
This is domestic, so this was not a wild.
Why can't you get another one?
Well, if the other one hasn't flown too far away and Mark gets his butt here in the next hour or two, maybe we can find it and shoot it in the head, and then we can go ahead and.
At this point, it's going to be probably tomorrow afternoon by the time I'm there. I've been delayed because I'm contract.
Where are you?
Barry, I'm supposed to be the
I'm
front.
in Michigan still because I work.
Oh, come on!
Barry,
I need help.
I'm supposed to be there Friday afternoon, right?
Whenever time you want to get here, you can come.
I probably can't stay till Monday morning, but I can be there Friday evening.
Okay. Well, are you going? As I bought you a tent. Are you coming camping then?
I honestly do not know because I have to do work and my schedule's getting weird at work.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If you can't, then that's because I know most people have Monday off. Well, whoever's going to make it for Monday morning, we're camping Sunday night.
Monday a holiday?
Yeah, Monday's a holiday.
What is it?
Yeah, Monday's a holiday.
Memorial Day.
Oh,
That's why we usually do it this weekend is because it's a 3-day weekend. So we usually wrap up like late Sunday, and then Monday is kind of a chillish day.
Yeah, let me check.
Yeah.
So stay after the stream, Pink. 'Cause I have some questions for you. All
right, that or I'll be around. You can poke me again, but
okay.
So what you're saying is I should definitely bring a shotgun for the other dove.
It looks like I'm off on Monday because everybody's off on Monday. So yeah.
Well, let's say you're good. You're good.
Oh yeah.
Well, crazy lions, in Kenya.
Yeah, it occurred to me my tent is probably not going to be easy to check on a lot. Checks. I'm probably gonna have to get something more portable.
We have horses.
I think he's worried about the airplane.
I meant the airplane.
Wait, what? Oh. Yeah. Okay. No, I was actually getting there. Is we do have confirmed horses packing in and out. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So that
Yeah.
should be something.
Also, post your address somewhere because we only have a city name.
Yeah, we don't have the address.
Yeah, no. Search Google Maps for MMC Farmstead. There's a pin.
If you put my zip code in it, it falls on my house because we're dead center in the zip code. So if you put
an address.
Yeah, but if you put 47462, it literally the GPS falls in the house.
I don't know. Last time I tried to go out in that area, I got lost.
Yeah.
You will get lost. There's no guarantee. It's just why you're almost better not coming to my house and tell me when you're at close, and I'll just come get you. Because Mark knows. Mark knows it's bad.
I learned also on search party.
Oh no, my GPS brings me right to your fucking house.
You're special.
Yeah, so people tell me.
Hey, everybody, I'll talk to you later. I should probably go.
Later.
Have a good one.
Later.
Have fun on the farm. I wish I could be there.
Hey, wait, real quick. Did you get that job?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
I got a verbal offer, but I don't have paper yet.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Is this in Arizona or the one that you were looking for in the UK?
UK.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, so Arizona fell through.
Oh, okay.
Arizona, I never got any real idea why they said no. They just said no.
Okay.
UK, I have a verbal offer from. I do not have it on paper yet. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, dude, if you definitely want to link up while you're over in Europe, let me know and I'll figure that out.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, getting smashed, drinking beer. Hell yeah.
But it's English beer. Don't eat anything after drinking English beer because they don't pour them right.
Oh, God.
Wait, what don't the English do right with their beer?
They don't
Pour
pour it right.
If you get too much carbonation in your beer after a pour, you're going to throw up because it's going to basically just bloat. It just bloats your stomach. So don't let them pour it then.
Yeah, so just get a bottle and a glass. That is the easiest way to do it. And it's the nice way to do it. And then you can get the amount of carbonation that you want. But essentially what the English do is they leave like this little thin line of like foam. And that means all that carbon is still in the beer. So then you're drinking that. And whenever you eat something, all that carbon is being released into your food, which makes your stomach bloat up. So
I will note that then.
Rule of thumb, or in this case fingers, is to have like 2 fingers worth of foam in your beer, and then you'll eat just fine.
Is that vertical? Is that like poking the finger in, or is that like
no, like horizontal? Horizontal. Put your fingers up against the glass. So like, turn my camera back on.
You want like an inch and a half of foam, give or take.
You'll do like this on your glass, and then you'll see like the foam line should hit like right at the bottom of your middle finger.
Okay.
Little tricks I learned.
Yeah. But yeah, with any luck, hopefully I'll be in the UK. Provided I don't get fucked.
Hey, I don't know what the GPS problem is. I look at Google Maps, it has it right to the down in that even that gravel ass road you got. It's all washed out in places. It has that on the map.
My driveway?
Yeah.
That crap.
No, I know that because they've updated all their stuff. So yeah, they think it's a road. It's not. I am going to be on call, but I'm going to be silent because I need to finish this pigeon, and I don't want you guys getting banned from YouTube.
Gotcha.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Later, man.
See ya.
Later.
Have a good night, Owie.
Rest in peace,
I'm out.
pigeon. May you taste delicious.
I'm a little confused as to why a pigeon would get something. Mary Smith said pigeon would get you banned from YouTube, but okay.
Right now,
YouTube has a policy against graphic displays of blood
You can, but there has to be lots of warnings, and unless it's like separated besides PETA and all that shit. So I'm just gonna do this off call.
Okay.
They don't make much
all
noise
right.
anyway, and there's really not that much blood. People really think there's a lot more. I actually do have a how-to chicken slaughter video up on my channel, but it has to have. I put a big warning up, so just anyway.
Yeah, birds don't have a whole lot of blood in them.
Rest in peace, Pigeon. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Speaking of things with feathers, actually no, I'll wait till we finish with the list before I go into that.
We have anything else left on the list?
Yeah, we've hit everything on the list. That's currently on.
In that case, scientists found a dinosaur tail preserved in amber.
Ooh. Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, Jurassic Park.
No.
It was a very small dinosaur. But yeah, it's that. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty
It
cool.
is set in motion. Jurassic Park will be real.
So how small was the dinosaur? Are we talking like
a
small dinosaur?
It made it sound as if
3 foot or
like made it sound as if it was smaller than that.
Okay.
Pigeon that Mary's about to slaughter.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
I'm looking at pictures of recreations of the thing, and I'm not sure how big the thing is, but everybody thinks of dinosaurs being huge, but there was a lot of tiny ass dinosaurs that, well, I mean, they're the ancestors of modern birds. So
Okay, look, it's this big. This is how big it is. Let's put the thing up. Okay.
Graphic advisory.
This is the stop. This is the size of a pigeon. It's about yay big. So that's pigeon size.
Yeah.
It's the winged rabbit.
They all, well, yeah, trash dove. Do the thing.
Yes.
Okay. Do the thing. No, it's okay. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna pick on you. We're gonna have a quiet moment and just have some calm time first. Because you have to pet them first. You have to be nice.
A moment of zen.
Yeah, they have to be wait for it to calm down.
Otherwise the wings flap like fuck.
No, they're gonna do that regardless. It's just that I don't when I like their last moments to be calm. So anyway,
Understood.
Bye, Pigeon. You lived a good life. You will be sustenance.
Yes. I never tasted trash bird before.
well, me neither. That I know of.
I haven't either.
that you know of.
Yeah.
True.
I've definitely had some questionable Chinese food.
Then I'm sure that you've probably tasted a Fluffy or Whiskers, one of the two.
What all did I eat this
What
week?
about both?
Think about it. Definitely shrimp, definitely crawfish, definitely duck, some alligator multiple times. That's about all the anything even remotely exotic, and the shrimp's not exotic. Duck is only semi-exotic, but the duck was good. It was like, what is it? Old Nola Cafe, or old Nola Cookery. Pretty good stuff.
I believe it.
Did you ever have snake?
I don't think I've ever had snake, no.
You ever had poutine?
Rattlesnake.
Yeah, rattlesnake's pretty good.
I tried, but I haven't had an opportunity.
I've always been a little bit freaked out about trying a snake ever because the only time I ever really hear people eating them is in the context of horrifying diseases they contracted from eating snakes and parasites. Granted, this is eating them raw that every single story I read them in, but still, it's kind of.
Forget, there was a ranch or something out west that was making canned rattlesnake, and so the meat was cooked. And you had, it was like a lot of long, thin ribbons of meat kind of coiled around in the can, as you might expect.
Yeah.
I know there was a place near me that was like this brat place that they had a rattlesnake brat, and I was so tempted to try it, but chickened out and went for cheese and jalapeno.
Sissy.
Yeah.
I'm willing to try a lot of foods at least once.
Yeah. What was it?
I don't think I'll ever. I don't think I'll ever try brain though.
On your list for this week, besides the duck and the quail and the pigeon and the what else is in there? Chicken, lots of rabbit, and lamb, which Mark, as soon as you can get here, because I'm gonna need help slaughtering that lamb and I have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, and I also have lamb fries that I need to put together tomorrow for hors d'oeuvres and cow tongue.
Ooh.
I got all kinds of.
Tongue sounds a little.
Oh my God! If
try.
you've never had cow tongue, you are totally missing out. It is amazing.
It sounds chewy.
Liz, do you keep kosher at all, or
what?
You keep kosher, or do you?
Well, I did. I
don't. Well, I don't keep kosher now.
So I did hear of one very, very odd cuisine that I think they're doing in China or Japan, one of the two. But they're doing.
They breed a new kind of cat?
No, chicken sushi.
Oh, I don't think I'd want that. I want my breast.
Especially not from China.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What, is Japan the big one for sushi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
No,
So it's
Japan
probably
eats like
Japan then.
fugu fish and stuff.
So what they're doing is they only take the meat from inside the chicken breast. They obviously don't do anything on the outside. And they say you only have a 20% chance of getting E. coli.
Or
Only
20% chance. So 1 in 5. Wow. Okay. Oh, pass.
Sorry, I like my ghetto crab legs fried.
Yeah, exactly. With some hot sauce. We on YouTube we got a tongue hater. Steven says I had tongue at a Mexican restaurant once and it was the worst.
Oh, that's no, not Mexican. I'm talking like Jewish deli style. That's the way I do. You gotta do it like you do in the Jewish deli.
But was she cute though? Stupid 3 a.m. joke aside. I think I'm gonna follow suit and get off for the night, guys. Glad that I could help out and bring something to the table today.
Heck yeah! Thanks for being here.
Gotcha. Oh, check out my new purple dubby. Oh, it's too light to fit.
Nice.
I had to stretch it out to fit my big ass head. I actually got me a hat mold, and I'm using it to stretch the thing out so it actually will somewhat sit on my noggin.
Nice. Nice. Well, I will see you guys all next week.
See you next week.
We have an emergency cast during the weekend.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Well, all right. If Israel's going to be there, Liz is going to be there, and of course Mary's going to be there, I might just do a stream from Mary's. Oh wait, Mary has no bandwidth. Come on.
Dude,
Yeah.
That's not entirely true. That's not entirely true at all. If you have Verizon, you have full bars.
And if you stand
excellent.
right in your yard, you can use your phone.
Well, I know you. No. That was
only
last year.
Verizon?
We have a new cell tower.
Yeah,
Only Verizon?
We are now triangulated. We are fully triangulated. There's no issue at all with cell signal here.
Oh, so
If you're on Verizon, if you're on AT&T, you're fucked. But Verizon, you got.
What about other carriers?
Verizon and Verizon?
Verizon.
I've been on
So,
Sprint.
Verizon,
not
you can get
T-Mobile.
Verizon. Okay. Damn it, child.
I remember.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember in Sprint your house sucked. But if I went into your backyard, back in that back right-hand corner,
I'm so mad at you right now because you had to call me during on the call, and now I have to hang up this call in order to get my volume back because it thinks that I'm not speaker.
Well, anyway, if you're doing an impromptu stream from Mary's, let me know. I'll hop on.
okay,
If you're doing one, I'm going to be doing it only wearing a mask.
okay, gotcha.
I told him I have to get him a lizard mask. It's going to be adorable.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, man.
See ya.
I can't wait to see Liz's lizard mask.
Yes.
It's going to be Liz and Barry.
You mentioned You mentioned last time about probably not to take showers. So just
at least right? I don't
Excuse
know. Well, how many? It's going to be like 10 people total.
that
I didn't grab porta potties this year. I was waiting for Mark to get here to decide if we needed to do it or if we could set up something directly into my thing because I have 2 bathrooms.
Well, you got postal diggers, right?
What? Yeah, I got all kinds. I got stuff. I got postal diggers and I got things.
Well, if you do that, you're going to need sand and gravel.
Yeah, but that's not a problem. We live next to a quarry.
Nice.
Yeah, so sand and gravel is cheap here.
And free if you go at night.
Oh wait, you guys are no. I mean, okay, shush. I'll be in a minute. Put that window back up. My God. No, but I mean, I had some ideas, but I wanted to run them through Mark.
okay.
Or I have a couple other. Well, there's the 5-gallon bucket option, and there's a 5-gallon bucket being turned to a toilet and into the thing option. But anyway, or I can just still rent a porta potty and have it dropped off like tomorrow. And then for as far as the showers go, we have our main shower, and then we were discussing that earlier if we wanted to rig something that's hot. Hell, if there's enough sun here, it actually probably wouldn't be that difficult just to get a reservoir set up. Because I mean, it took my stupid hose probably 10 minutes to run out of hot water earlier because it was just too hot.
Yeah, mainly just I want to make sure that even for the basics, that no surprises. That's it.
We'll be good.
Anything? Yeah.
We still got like 3 days, so I mean, I can always run up and grab camp showers if I absolutely have to.
In worst case, they can adapt. It's just like know ahead of time, that kind of thing. So I can have time to get stuff.
Or we'll just rotate our stuff out and make sure that we're last to take showers. Because if I have to take a cold shower, it's not like the end of the world.
Same here. It's just more so not having caked sweat.
No. That's totally understandable. Although temperature-wise, we've been pretty good so far. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, bring chairs if you got extra chairs. But other thing is, let me know what you guys cannot bring on the plane so I can grab it tomorrow when I go to Walmart.
I'm probably just going to buy a more portable tent. I'm just debating if I should get it before or after I land.
Where are you landing? In Indianapolis?
Yeah.
If you come down 37, there's a Walmart there in Martinsville. So.
Or there's like a Walmart in Bloomington and a Sam's Club and a Royal King and a Tractor Supply. And,
and there's a Royal King in Martinsville too.
Yeah. Although honestly, Walmart's got the best tent prices.
Okay.
I just went and picked up a couple tents at Walmart today.
All right. And I'll just have to try to. Yeah. Okay.
You got your sleeping bags and stuff. Is Adrian still on call?
I'm on call.
Okay. Do you have sleeping bag and do you need an air mattress or
I can bring the air mattress. I just need to find it.
Okay. Bring what you got. Let me know if you need like a sleeping bag or you need to go get yourself a sleeping bag or.
Okay.
No. But yeah, but that's just give me a heads up what you guys think that you're going to absolutely need as far as necessities, and we'll just go and pizza to yourself. I know I do. Will you please leave me alone? I'm trying to pluck a pigeon.
My goodness. One of my necessities that I definitely need back rubs. Yeah.
Okay. If you go lay on your stomach out in the side field, I guarantee you will have lots of back massage.
Wait.
You might not like it. It might hurt.
You might be laying face first in goat poo,
or in sheep, but it's okay. They will totally walk all over you, happily. And oh, by the way, Adrian's daughter's back. She was climbing a tree yesterday.
Right.
I had a tree goat.
Oh. I'm a little confused about how that works.
They climb up a tree.
Yes, I understand the words, but it's not really translating to a mental image.
Well, it's a goat, and it gets in a tree.
They fucking climb.
And then you have a tree goat.
Tree.
The very low-hanging branches, I'm going to assume.
Something like that.
Okay.
But they are goats. Goats will go everywhere.
Okay.
And then she decided to jump on top of the roof, and that was not. I wasn't really excited about that either.
She is just trying to explore.
Yep. Oh, she's very sweet though. She kicks after her dad and her mom, so very good.
So, Adrian, you think about doing the indoor beehive?
It's a cool looking fucking project, but I doubt I'd ever do it. But it looks cool.
It does.
Wait. There's a what?
It said I posted on Facebook just a second ago. My brother Bedford posted it, and I shared it back.
It's an indoor beehive.
How does that work?
It's like a tube to go outside, but it's a section and come inside to your house so you can actually observe the bees.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So like at the state fair.
But I guess that's also probably good in the winter where it can stay warm. So
Hey, Mary.
Yep.
Do you want me to bring ingredients? I can bring stuff. I have a family recipe for red beans and rice. I could probably when I'm there pick up some stuff in a pot.
Bring whatever you guys want to bring for extra. I'm doing mostly all the meats this year. That's kind of been my focus the past couple days. I mean, I will have a dessert out each night, and there will be at least one vegetable. But yeah, if you guys want to bring sides or extras or alcohol or however you guys want to do it, yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. Just need to know if anyone does not like spicy stuff, because I can just change the recipe up.
Yeah, well, we can. Yeah, if anyone wants to give a heads up, that's fine.
Okay.
Like I said, this tends to be more of a lowish keyish thing. I'm trying not to overstress this year just because I've had enough other stuff going on, and I just want to make sure that we got everything here. So just like I said, just give me a heads up. If you guys think of anything, go ahead and ask me, because I want to make sure that I'm not completely like spacing on something, because
how far is the campsite away from your house?
Huh?
How far away is this campsite from your house?
Oh, the where we're hiking to?
Yes.
30 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna drive. We'll drive out there, and then we'll hike to the site.
Okay.
I mean, it's a bit of a hike, so just be ready for it. But that's also why we required pack horses.
You said 3 minutes though, so like a bit of a hike, 3 minutes. What?
A bit of a hike, like 5 miles.
That's not 3 minutes.
So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like motherfucker, if you're doing that in 3 minutes.
Okay, so that's
if it was going to be
even
a
with the
3
Monday.
minute hike, I wouldn't have asked for horses. We could all manage. That's not.
Got it.
That's like what's it called? That's like when you like stay at a campground. You like drive up to your spot and stuff. No, this is like actual like in the woods camping.
I'm going to give me some KO pet cage to do self-imposed. Yeah.
Okay, well that's whatever if as long as can you ride a horse, Adrian? I mean, worst case scenario,
I've never had before.
Can we throw you on top of a horse and can you not fall off?
Can you strap me onto one, like rope me up?
Yeah. If there's an absolute emergency, I suppose we can always do that.
All right, I think we're going to stop the stream. We'll discuss some stuff offline. But everybody, thank you for joining the stream. Y'all have a good night.
Shalom.